On for the big story that we're tracking on Beyond at this hour, where the wait is now finally over for the people of the United States. And according to the authorities, the first phase of the highly awaited Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine rollout is all set to start from Monday onwards. Now, the U.S. Army General Gustav Perner, who is currently acting as the Chief Operating Officer of the government's Operation Warp Speed program, said on Saturday that the first shots of the vaccine campaign will be administered as early as Monday morning.
We expect 145 sites across all the states to receive vaccine on Monday, another 425 sites on Tuesday, and the final 66 sites on Wednesday, which will complete the initial delivery of the Pfizer orders for vaccine.
The shipping companies UPS and FedEx are all set to carry out the massive vaccination rollout drive from sometime later this evening. Initial shipments are expected to leave Pfizer's manufacturing plant in Kalamazoo, Michigan, via trucks and will then be flown to regional hubs around the country. The healthcare workers and also elderly people are expected to be the very first recipients in the first wave of the nearly about 3 million shots that are to be administered in just this month. A similar amount is also held in reserve for a second dose. The United States on Friday had granted emergency use authorization for the vaccination for people aged 60 and older. The vaccine has been found to be about 95% effective in preventing COVID-19. And the head of the U.S. Food and Drug Administration on Saturday has said that efforts to distribute the nation's first COVID-19 vaccine are well and truly underway in the United States.
I am pleased to announce that late yesterday, the FDA authorized for emergency use the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine. This is the first COVID-19 vaccine to be authorized in the United States. The FDA is respected worldwide and is considered the gold standard regulator of medical products. We applied our high standards of review in reviewing this product so that Americans can have trust and confidence that the vaccine meets FDA's rigorous standards for safety and effectiveness.
The United States is currently the world's worst affected nation due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The country has already reported over 16 million cases of infections, with more than 305,000 fatalities linked to COVID-19.
This is Psalms 55, verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Shalom. I want to start off by saying Kal Halal Yamla, Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham Rekah Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us his truth and who rule well. Peace and citations unto the Akim that is spread around the four corners of the earth, spreading this word in sincerity and in truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect. I'm the brother Kwatas Sayan, coming back through the spirit and power of Yahweh Basham Yahushai with another lesson, with another video, and Lord willing, this video is edifying. God. Yeah, man, so we have been warning you. We of Great Millstone have been warning you about the diabolical schemes of Esau. And now it's that time, it's time that the vaccine is going to be rolling out in America, as you saw in the video, that it has arrived in America and that they're going to start distributing it from starting Monday, and yeah, man, so we've been warning you, we've been telling you about this. So what are you to do with this? What are you to do with the upcoming decrees and grievous decrees that they are just now implementing? They have been putting everything in place for this to happen. They're going to come with their military forces, coming with their decrees, coming to inject you with that jab, with that vaccine. But you as a man of the Lord, this is what you should do. Because something very spiritual happened yesterday. One of the younger brothers that came into the truth, he was talking about a dream that he had, and he said that in his dream, he had a shot. He had how do you call it, syringe, the injector, of that vaccine. He had that in his hand. And he was the person that was jabbing these people. So he jabbed the first one, he jabbed the second one, he jabbed the third one. But then he looked at that tool that he was using, and it was all bloody and disgusting, and his spirit, he didn't want to use it anymore. But then he came to a other man that was in the room, the next one that had to get that jab, had to get that vaccine. And what happened? He just dropped it and left, and he woke up. He didn't want to continue. So that was a very spiritual dream. Why? Because it wasn't him that was the man that was giving the shot. This was a revealing of what Yahweh Bashem Yahushai can do to deliver people. The person that is supposed to give you that shot, the person that is supposed to give you that vaccine, he can all of a sudden just change his mind and stop and help you, and deliver you from this. And that's what you should have in the back of your mind, because the elder Manata Zachba, he also spoke about that. He spoke about that you should agree with your adversary quickly, You shouldn't be bearing arms and wanting to fight Esau, As it says in the book of Exodus 14 and 14, I believe, ye shall hold your peace, and Yahweh Hashem Yahushai shall fight for you. He's going to deliver you. And let's go into that, because the king's commandment is now at hand, Meaning the king's commandment, the man that is in rulership, he is setting up everything in order for his beast system to come out. But you, as a man of the Lord, this is what you're supposed to do. Let's go to the book of Maccabees, First Maccabees 1. Verse 62. This is First Maccabees 1, verse 62. Howbeit, many in Israel were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing. So in this time, the king had made a commandment that they should, keep their feast days and keep their ways, and say goodbye to the ways of Israel, basically, roughly paraphrasing. But you had certain Israelites that wouldn't convert to their way of living and eating, being unclean. Verse 63. Wherefore, the rather to die, that they might not be defiled with meats, and that they might not profane the holy covenant. So then they died. You see, so in your mind, you shouldn't be wanting to lay away the law, statutes, and commandments, put aside the prophecies, put aside everything that you have been taught, just to keep on living. Because with this food that you got, with this knowledge that you got, you know that this flesh is corruptible. This flesh is not going to last forever. So it shouldn't hurt you. The scripture also says that the elect, they don't love their life to death. He that loveth his life, he the same shall lose it. You see, the most important thing is to keep the law, statutes, and commandments and show your faith. In this case, these people died. But let me go into another instance. Let's go to the instance of Daniel, where he got delivered. I'm going to read quickly through the scriptures so that you can just get a understanding of what is being meant here. Because the rest, it really doesn't really need a breakdown. but you can understand it for yourself. God, this is Daniel 6, verse 7. All the presidents of the kingdom, the governors and the princes, the counselors and the captains have consulted together to establish a royal statute and to make a firm decree. What are they doing right now also with the Maxine? They're making decrees, these grievous laws, these they come and they say, yeah, I'm proud to announce that we have finally got the right tools, you know, to get us out of this predicament of social distancing that we're in right now, you know. And they're coming with their statutes and decrees. So you have to take that so that things can so-called go to normal. But nothing is gonna ever be back to normal, because this is a beautiful stepping stone for them to go to their next level, to go to the next level of the new world order, the one world order, you know. Gone. So let me read again. I'll continue. Have consulted together to establish royal statutes and to make a firm decree that whosoever shall ask a petition of any power or man for 30 days, save of thee, O king, it's like he shall be cast into the den of lions. Gone. So these men, they were making a petition about how when somebody doesn't references the king as the power that is, he should be thrown into the den. And these people, they knew who Daniel was and that he prayed multiple times a day to his power and not referencing the king, because he's just been put there by Yahweh, by Shem Yahushai. God. Verse 8. Now, O king, establish the decree and sign the writing, that it be not changed according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which altereth not. Wherefore King Darius signed the writing and the decree. Now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went in to his house, and his windows being opened in his chamber towards Jerusalem, he kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day, and prayed, and gave thanks before his power, as he did aforetime. Salakia. Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his power. Then they came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree. Hast thou not signed the decree, that every man that shall ask a petition of any power or man within 30 days, save of thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions? The king answered and said, the thing is true, according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which altereth not. Then answered they and said before the king, that Daniel, which is of the children of the captivity of Judah, showing you that our forefathers even were in captivity. So this thing that we're in right now, this oppression state that they're in right now, is nothing new for us. We always were on the bottom. We always were in captivity, but this is going to be the last captivity according to the Bible. Because we are under captivity of the so-called white people, the Esau Edom, And as the scripture says in 2nd Ezra, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of the one that followeth, which is the kingdom, which is going to last forever and ever. Gone. Regardeth not thee, O king, nor the decree that thou hast signed, but maketh his petition 3 times a day. And then the king, when he heard these words, was sore displeased with himself, and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him. So he wanted to help Daniel. And he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. Then these men assembled unto the king, and said unto the king, Know, O king, that the law of the Medes and Persians is, that no decree nor statute which the king established may be changed. So these men were against him, against the king, trying to turn back the decree that he had made. Verse 16. Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, Thy power, whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. You see, so that's a very important point that he's making. The power that you're serving, he's going to deliver to you because I can't. He being the king, he can't change the law that he signed. But he hoped that the power that Daniel was serving, that he would deliver him. Verse 17. And a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den. And the king sealed it with his own signet and with the signet of his lords, that the purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel. Then the king went to his palace and passed the night fasting. Neither was instruments of music brought before him, and his sleep went from him. Meaning he didn't, he lied awake. Then the king arose very early in the morning and went in haste unto the den of lions. And when he came to the den, he cried with a lamentable voice unto Daniel. And the king spake and said to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living power, is thy power, whom thou servest continually, able to deliver thee from the lions? Then said Daniel unto the king, O king, live forever. My power had sent his angel, and had shut the lions' mouths, that they have not hurt me. For as much as before him innocency was found in me, and also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt. Then was the king exceeding glad for him, and commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no matter of hurt was found upon him, because he believed in his power. And the king commanded, and they brought those men which had accused Daniel, and they cast them into the den of lions, them, their children, and their wives. And the lions had the mastery of them, and brake all their bones in pieces, or ever they came to the bottom of the den. You see? So the point of this story is that Yahweh delivered Daniel. Daniel didn't bear arms. He didn't put up arms to fight the king. No, he just agreed with the king, and he was delivered by an angel that the Most High had sent. So that's also has to be in your mind. Don't try to fight Esau when he's doing his things. He's gonna deliver you, like the dream of the brother. That he was in a situation. He traded places with the person that was ministering those vaccines. So that's what's able to happen, even in those days. So don't lose faith. And going into the next example, let's go to the book of Daniel 3, verse 14. This is also a very good example of deliverance. How Yahweh Bashem Yahushai can deliver you from the time of trouble. God, this is Daniel 3, verse 14. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, did not ye serve my powers, my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? You see, so this is again another instance when the heathen, they set up idols, false gods, and other stumbling blocks for us. They wanted us to pray to their powers. They want us to pray to their gods and to go in their ways, eat their unclean things. But these three men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they declined. They did not do that. As it also says in the book of Romans 11, that I have preserved to me 500 men that didn't bow the knee to Baal. So that's how you should be. You should be stiff. Yeah, the word that is popping into my head is stiff-necked. But yeah, you should be stiff-necked not to not do the commandments, but to do the commandments. Be stiff-necked in not following these ways of these heathens. You know, you gotta be steadfast. Yeah, you gotta have faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, because that word faith goes into being steadfast, unmovable. Gone. Daniel 3, verse 15. Now if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of the burning furnace. And who is that power that shall deliver you out of my hands? Okay, so he threatened them that when you hear the music, start worshiping. If you don't, then you're going to be burnt up. Verse 16. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. So they didn't tremble, they didn't stutter when they said this. Verse 17. If it be so, our power, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thy hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was wont be heated. So he was so pissed off. He's like, okay, you see that that furnace, heated 7 times more hotter than it already is. Verse 20. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, and their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, before the king, commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceeding hot, the flames of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So that thing was so hot that the people that, the mighty men that were supposed to throw them, even they perished. That's how hot it was. Verse 23. And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar, the king, was astonished, Salakia, and rose up in haste and spake, and said unto his counselors, Did not we cast 3 men bound in the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, True, O king. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt, and the form of the 4th is like the Son of Man. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace, and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the most high power, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire. And the princes, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was a hair of their head singed. Neither were these coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the power of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who had sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word, and yielded their bodies that they might not serve nor worship any god except their God. Therefore I make a decree that every people, nation, language, which speak anything amiss against the God and the power of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut in pieces, and their houses shall be made a dunghill before there is no other power that can deliver after this sort. See? So the point being is deliverance. Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai, He can deliver you, because these are instances that are recorded in the Bible that men that had faith, they were delivered in the time of trouble. So you shouldn't be wanting to fight this white man. You shouldn't be taking up arms. You shouldn't be, getting physical with these people. No, man. Just simply agree and Yahweh Tazah, when were the righteous forsaken? You know. Let me get that also to close it off. For a second. Gone. This is Psalms 37, verse 25. I have been young, and now am old, yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. Gone. But actually, there was the other one. Gone. This is the one. This is Sirach 2, verse 10. Look at the generations of old and see. Gone. So that's what I was trying to do in this lesson, showing you in the history that look at the generations of old and see. Did ever any trust in Yahweh and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? Verse 11. For Yahweh is full of compassion and mercy, long-suffering, and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins, and saveth in time of affliction. Gone. So he's going to save you, he's going to deliver you with the power of his angels in the time of affliction, in the time of trouble. Gone. Yahweh Tazah, this video is edifying. And I want to say, Kal Halal Yamla, Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham Reka Kodash, Shalom Akim.